People capture the moments of their life in photographs, memories frozen in time to remember people and places.
Hong Kong, different places that I've been.
And then there are folks like Harry Humes who prefer his paintings to capture the life he's lived and the people he shared it with.
Each one of these, I put on the names of people that I know that I served with that died, and friends. You can't hardly read them, but they're personal to me. And almost everything that I do, there's something personal.
You don't have to look far in this 74-year-old's Harrodsburg home to know he's a proud veteran. Hume served in the Navy during one of the country's most tumultuous times, the Vietnam War, aboard the USS Kishwaukee.
I went in 1966 and came out in 1970. Then I went in again and I became, it's in Navy Reserves, but I came on active duty as a recruiter.
It was often Hume's hobby of doodling.
The cartooning was a real escape mechanism
That helped get him through those long nights halfway around the world.
It says here, "Oh, hi, Chief, what are you doing up this late?"
But what wasn't funny was Hume's return home. Like so many Vietnam-era veterans, there was no welcome home.
I'd grown up with, my Boy Scout master was World War II vet. And I knew how we respected those people so much. And I kind of thought there might be a little bit of that. But it wasn't that way.
For a man who loved serving his country, but saw firsthand his country not love him for serving, sent him into a spiral of depression.
And it took me a long time to realize that we were fighting for something big. And in fact, we were fighting for freedom.
What got Humes through some of those days serving eventually would pull him out of his depression.
But in order to help get past that, I started to paint. And that's where some of these paintings came from.
With no real formal training, Hume started painting, and he's never really stopped. What he chooses to put on paper is oftentimes sentimental and a way for him to stay connected to those who have served.
Chief Murillo, all these different people that I try to represent on these stones that they died young.
3 years ago, Humes found a new medium and a new place to showcase his art. He wanted to create a lasting piece for the countless veterans who visit the Lexington VA hospital. So he spent his own money and purchased a fiberglass horse and set out to paint perhaps one of his most meaningful pieces.
And I saw a need for this as a way of individually saluting these people for the encounters, the places that they were in. So I tried to make it personal.
He and Duke, as he calls him, became quite close over the 9 months he spent painting.
He actually fell on me once.
He hopes the veterans who pass by Duke find a little something of their own story in the brushstrokes.
And I had veterans, when we did it, I had one veteran, I've got a picture of him, he came up and started crying on my shoulder. I had other ones I had pictures of that they went out and saluted it.
Duke is a one-of-a-kind horse, sort of like Hume's. He admits painting keeps him going, but we found that it's really another veteran that has allowed this artist to paint all these years.
Carol was significant. This is Carol. I have Carol's heart. Carol was a parachute rigger. She actually got the parachute into Grenada.
That's right. Harry Humes is alive to this day because of veteran Carol Edwards. He received her heart when he needed one most. Carol's fatigues hang in his studio. And for a man who paints so personally, it's his connection to keeping her around.
It's been 22 and a half years.
Since your transplant?
Since my transplant. One of the longest. I'm in a 3% survivability.
And that allows Harry Humes to continue doing what he loves, honoring the fallen and painting from a heart that beats proudly for his country.
I was very proud and honored to have served.